Today we're going to be replacing a front wheel hub on a 2014 Cadillac XTS car. So if you're interested in seeing how that repair's done, you're going to be doing that repair yourself. You want a couple tips and tricks along the way, or you just want to hang out. Let's get into it. Alright, so first and foremost, you're going to see me come up and take a screwdriver. I'm going to put it in the middle of this caliper here and pry outwards. With these Brembo brakes, there's 2 pistons on each side, 4 pistons all together. Helps a lot just to compress those, and then set your caliper off to the side. That way it's easier to put back together. I like to hang these guys up on a hard metal wire versus a bungee cord, just because it gives a little extra stability, and the brake hose that goes to these calipers is very, very rigid, and you do not want to break it. So, as you can see there, I'm doing that. I'm hanging it up right now. Then on this model, you do have a rotor set screw. It's a T30. Some of them are pretty hard to come out. This one was not. It came right out with a small little impact. So, you're going to take that off, give your rotor a little bit of hammering. That will come off. Now, with your rotor held up out of the way, I like to take a little rust penetrant or PB Blaster WD-40. Spray it on the back of my bolts and between where the hub and the steering knuckle sits, just so that's going to start working out some of that corrosion. Then you're going to break all these loose. You can use an electric impact to take them the rest of the way out, or just use your normal impact to take them the rest of the way out. In this case, I think I just used a ratchet and didn't even try to get a different tool. So you have 3 bolts on the back of that. You're going to remove all of those, and you have an axle nut on the front. Use an impact usually to get that axle nut off. They come off pretty easily. You might have to hold your hub from spinning. And then you're going to take your ABS sensor off. Don't forget it. I think it's a 10mm. On these, they pop out from the steering knuckle pretty easily. But if you forget to take it out, you will break it when you hammer the hub out. Next, following that, you have all your bolts out. Your axle nut is off, so you're just going to hammer, man. You're going to go ham. You're going to hammer, hammer, hammer. And I'm actually going to let this whole clip play just because this is my favorite part of the whole job. So you guys can watch me hammer if you want. Skip about a minute ahead and you will get to the rest of the tutorial. Enjoy. So like I said, you can see a little bit of hammering, not a ton. And then you pop that axle through the hub, it comes right out. Make sure you don't lose that dash shield, that's going to have to go back on. And if you bent it at all or smacked it with the hammer, which I did in this case, you're going to want to bend it back and fix it. It is springable metal, so it fixes pretty easily. After that, especially if you are in the rust belt or just in an area where you get a lot of salt on the roads, you're going to want to take some sort of a cleaning wheel. This is a abrasive circular, I think it's called a green finger, but beside the point, it just cleans the corrosion out of there. It doesn't actually take any of the metallic material. Then I'm going to take a wire brush and clean up that axle itself, the splines of it, so that the new hub slides on there nice and easily. As you can see, I'm getting in there nice, making sure that I get all the corrosion out, just because if you don't, the hub doesn't like to slide in there nice and easily and seat nice and easily. And it actually could change your alignment just very, very slightly, but if the hub has corrosion behind it and it doesn't seat flat, it will cause issues. So just make sure you clean it and avoid any of them. This isn't a must. I always do it because I like to take care of the next guy. The next guy is usually me. So I like to put a little bit of anti-seize. Now, I say a little bit. This stuff goes a long, long way. So just put a little bit on your axle splines and a little bit where that bearing is going to go in. Then you're going to reinstall the hub. You're going to make sure you do not forget that dust shield. many mechanics have done it. I think every mechanic has done it at least once, but when you do, then you got to take all the bolts back out and take the hub back out, and it sucks. It's no fun. So you're going to do that, and you're going to put them bolts in there, get it nice and tight, and I don't recommend using the bolts to suck the hub and the axle tight. I recommend making sure that it's seated before you get the bolts tight, just because if you use the bolts to suck it flush, it can cause other issues. So make sure everything's in there the way that it's supposed to and sits nicely, and then tighten everything down. So you can see in this case, I'm actually using an impact. I think they go to about 95 foot-pounds, so I just use my impact, tighten them down. Then you're going to throw the rotor on, and after you throw the rotor on, you have that little T30 set screw. Some guys won't put these back, some guys do, some guys sabotage them, some guys throw anti-seize on them, and sometimes I'll throw anti-seize on them. They don't necessarily have to go back. The original purpose for them is to keep the rotor on the vehicle on the assembly line. However, I like them because now, as you can see, the rotor is held nice and firmly. I don't have to fight it when I'm putting my caliper back on. And in my opinion, if I take a bolt off a vehicle, I should also put it back on the vehicle. So now you can see, thankfully, I collapsed the pistons for my caliper in the beginning, so my caliper slides right over that rotor nice and easily. I'm going to start the bolts by hand. Make sure you throw a little bit of blue Loctite on there. It's not in this video, but I did do that beforehand. Good idea, especially with brake components, just to use some Loctite. Then you're going to take your impact and tighten that axle nut down just until it's about tight, almost tight, not quite all the way to the finish. If you do hit the finish, you're just going to back it off a little bit. Then you're going to get on the internet or whatever automotive software you use, and you're going to look up the torque spec for your axle nut. In this case, I believe it was 195 pounds, but a screwdriver inside of the slots of your rotor and then pinched up against your caliper works really, really well to hold it from moving, to torque it down. If you don't have that kind of a rotor, another way you can do it is a pry bar between the studs and then pinched up against the hoist arm. But yeah, anyway, there you have it. Front wheel hub on the 2014 Cadillac XTS. Thanks for hanging out.